Headlines, where we round up the week's most interesting news stories for all of you. Last Tuesday, the United States of America witnessed the 2020 Super Tuesday. This is one of the biggest days during the presidential primaries since the largest number of states nominate their delegates for voting. The delegates are people who represent their states at national party conventions. The Republicans kind of know who's going to represent them, but the Democrats still need to decide. Super Tuesday this year saw 14 states holding nomination contests to award up to 1,357 delegates in the Democratic Party and 782 in the Republican Party. To put that number into perspective, a candidate needs 1,991 delegates to win the primary from the Democratic Party and 1,276 to win the primary from the Republican Party. The results on Super Tuesday are therefore a strong indicator of the likely eventual nominee of each political party. This year's Super Tuesday had unprecedented turnouts. In Alabama, over 450,000 people cast their ballots. Even in Texas, 2.1 million people put down their fishing rods and hopped off their tractors to vote. Last week, America's favorite couple, Elizabeth Warren and Michael Bloomberg, dropped out. And that, kids, is what happens when you spend $500 million on a campaign and only win 5 delegates from American Samoa. Anyway, with these two out of the race, the only two people who stand a chance in the Democratic Party are Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, and they were neck and neck. In the Republican Party, though, Donald Trump has almost secured victory, with 833 delegates out of the 1,276 he needs. His competition isn't stiff either. His main opponent is Bill Weld, who only has 1 delegate. After a week of political turmoil in Malaysia, the country swore in a new prime minister, marking an end to the reign of the oldest prime minister in the world, Mahathir Mohammed. This change in leadership supposedly began as infighting over succession within the United Malays National Organization, or UNMO, which has ruled since the country's independence in 1957, as Mahathir hit 94 years of age. This rumored mutiny ended with conservative politician Muhyiddin Yassin named Prime Minister. Mahathir is not happy about this. He has accused the new governing coalition of partnering with people embroiled in one of the world's greatest and biggest embezzlement scandals. Mahathir refused to work with graft-tainted politicians unless they are, quote, proven clean, while, quote, Muhyiddin is more relaxed towards this approach. Muhyiddin's slogan is to put Malaysia first. Sounds like someone we all know. SpaceX successfully launched an uncrewed Dragon spacecraft for NASA on the 6th of March, sending a batch of new supplies to the ISS. The rocket also struck a successful landing, making it the 50th successful landing for SpaceX as a whole. That mission was significant because it was also the final flight under SpaceX's first commercial resupply services contract with NASA, which was signed in 2008 and is valued at $1.6 billion. Additionally, beginning in October of this year, all future resupply missions will feature SpaceX's upgraded Dragon 2 capsule. That version will be capable of flying 5 times, whereas each Dragon 1 was rated to fly just 3 times. Phone scams are huge issues which are often swept under the carpet. For example, on the 21st of October last year, the Indian police conducted a raid on 2 groups in Kolkata and were successful, putting an end to the businesses and transferring funds to 23,000 victims who were swindled of the cold, hard cash. Yet, all that was circulating around the internet that day was this picture of Justin Trudeau. But last week, a scam call center that targeted thousands of British victims was raided by the Indian police following a BBC investigation. So that viral pop-up you see when downloading the latest update of Fortnite shouldn't worry you, although the fact that you're still playing Fortnite should. The owner of the call center denied that it was a scam, but declined to answer detailed questions posed by the BBC. He is now in custody and is due to appear in court on Thursday. The BBC had also obtained the recordings of 70,000 calls where victims were being ripped off in the UK, America, and Australia. Hundreds of thousands of people are employed in legitimate call centers all over the world, but there are also dozens of call centers running scams. So if it appears to be so easy for journalists to crack all of these scam cases, why are the scams still happening? Well, Indian police say it is a difficult crime to prosecute because almost all of the victims are overseas and the police need evidence from the victims before they can impose any charges. Panorama Broadcasts, a BBC channel, got its evidence from an online vigilante who goes by the name of Jim Browning. He had hacked into the call center's computer system and taken control of the CCTV cameras in the building, providing enough evidence for the crackdown to take place. Police aren't usually allowed to hack into private servers because of privacy breaches. So, this internet vigilante decided to take matters into his own hands. The Australian women's cricket team, captained by Meg Lanning, won the Women's T20 World Cup title this year in a final against India. They are the defending champions and were victorious with 85 runs to spare at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. India also delivered a stunning performance throughout the series. In fact, one of their players even made the top 5 highest run list. This player was Shefali Verma, a 16-year-old superstar who's already at the top of the ICC, International Cricket Council's T20 batting rankings, despite this being her first ever international cricket tournament. She has an interesting backstory. Her brother was a member of a top-ranked cricket club in India, which she was vying to be a part of. However, when she attempted to join the club, they denied her, stating that they didn't want girls to be playing cricket on their pitches. So, one day when her brother was sick and unwell and couldn't play at the club, she cut her hair short and went in to replace him, disguised as a boy. She absolutely shone at the club, where she was noticed by selectors. After being drafted for Indian Premier League matches, she was eventually picked to be an opener for the Indian Women's T20 cricket team. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, that's MBS in the KSA, seems like a man who has it all. Wealth, his personal net worth is $17 billion US. Power, the clue is in his title Crown Prince. He's the boss of the world's most valuable company, Saudi Aramco, and the world's youngest defense minister. So obviously he has the best toys. And he's set to become Saudi Arabia's youngest king. Or is he? His dad, King Salman, is almost 84 years old and reportedly not in the best of health. So on the 7th of March, MBS detained 3 members of the royal family, saying that they were obstacles to his power and future kingship. Who knows what's going to happen next? That's all for this week. I'll see you next time on Headlines.